The focus is to become better. The focus is to become better. The focus is to become better. The focus is to become more in depth. The focus is to become, basically, step into this space with yourself where we think about opinions. Opinions, in the detail of opinions, is usually, in the detail is the opinion, and usually that opinion is spoken through emotion or the aesthetic. The leader that is afraid to fall is the same as the follower that is afraid to rise. Neither one understand or will come into balance with themselves, understanding, and get stuck in what I call the aesthetics or the surface. A lot of times when people give their opinions, someone can give you a bomb-ass opinion, bomb-ass stream of thought, some deep stuff for you to actually become better and help yourself grow. But based on how it makes you feel, you may not listen to it. Because we have given ourselves the aesthetic. Similar to, it's the reason why if you look inside like of a magazine, you shopping online, and you're looking at outfits or clothes, you'll look at it and how it's fitting on that person or that individual, the model that they use. And based on the aesthetic feeling of how they look, make you decide if you want to get it. So a lot of times when we're looking at opinions to be led or to learn how to serve or learn how to become better, we look for it on the surface. We go through the aesthetic aspect. We look at it like, ooh, that looks good, I'm going to get that. Or that looks good, I'm going to do that. Why don't I look like that when I do it? We get stuck on this opinion of ourselves. And then, without understanding this process, going through this process of visualizing, truly visualizing based on the patterns of the path, the triggers of why we keep going down certain paths, why we keep doing certain things, all of this leads into the aspects of, in order for me to truly in order for me to be the authentic and be the authority, I must first learn how to serve myself. I must first learn the aspects of myself. I must first bring myself into balance while going through, because everything that I'm going to be going through is going to be showing me how I'm going through the aspects of my balance. How do I learn myself? I said it in the podcast. Stop allowing people, including yourself, the ability to make you do things when they're only using it on the aesthetic or the surface. That means they will look at you in your face and say something to you, and it's only based on the aesthetic. You'll say, hey girl, I'm going to the gym. And the first thing that they'll say to you is, all those people in there? You'll say, hey, I'm about to go to this bookstore, to your homies. First thing they'll say is like, man, there's a lot of people in there. There's this fear aptitude of looking outside of or being truly to yourself for a lot of people. There's that fear in falling. There's a fear in actually rising. This is why when most people get stuck in trends and imitations, they'll follow it based on, as we get on to on Friday, that we're going to be breaking those imitations and allowing ourselves actually to go through our process and learn ourselves. We get stuck on the aesthetic. We get stuck on this surface level. We get stuck following the aesthetic monologues or that surface monologue that will leave us without really having to challenge ourselves. Because a lot of it comes down to your consistency, your discipline, you learning yourself. It's all based on you challenging yourself. You've never truly challenged yourself. You simply just imitated one aspect of your life and just kept repeating that over and over and over again, hoping for a different result. That goes into that thought, like, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Not because what you're visualizing, you're not visualizing the pattern. So your future does not look, you cannot embrace what's going to come up for you to learn when someone gives you an opinion, when someone gives you that train of thought, invokes that thought within you. The first thing that comes up is the triggering of the emotion. Nah, you shouldn't say that, and nah, this shouldn't be like this. I've done this my entire life. I've done this my entire life, and I've gotten this, and I've gotten this, and I've gotten this. And then you get deeper into it, and you're like, a little bit of nothing is better than, a little bit of something is better than nothing. I said it earlier in the week. If you are deserving of everything that you desire is going to be based upon the luxury of you building into yourself, then the first thing that you got to get out of is that aesthetic mentality that we give ourselves. That aesthetic mentality that we give ourselves of building out of the lack. At least I got this out of it. Instead of looking at what we're getting from it, we have to look at the aspects of the lesson. This is one of the key aspects when you're going into building yourself. Instead of looking at it based on what am I going to get out of it, because this is what a lot of us do. I made a post yesterday. I was like, what most people think is the aspect of love is based on the aspect of running up that tab until it's time to cash out. Running up that tab till it's time to cash out. Well, most of us come into this based on this opinion of the aesthetic of the surface is running up a tab until it's time to cash out. Giving out this contract that looks like $1 million, but within the clauses of this contract that we pass out, we have conditions and preconditions and this predestination. The only way we're going to go into this space and go into this is based on this, this, and this. If this, and this is not prominent in my precondition, then we can't do this, this, and this. That's no way to build your intentions. Because as I said before, your intentions are powered by what has your attention. So if your attention is still streamed into the trauma that you've been through, the struggle that you've been through, the oppression that you've been through, all of these aspects and the states of emotional paralysis, the internal festering, and then your external festering, you want to make the world that you're in fit this image that is not supposed to fit based on the aesthetic. You rather look good than feel better. You rather look like the leader and then lead. You rather look like the leader that is afraid to fall, or you rather be the follower that's afraid to rise. Think about how you search things in your life. Becoming the authority, becoming the authentic self is all in the aspects of you understanding that intimate power with yourself. Bringing yourself into the balance of yourself. Everything from learning your breathing and learning what your breath means. Everything to the aspects of sitting yourself down into a space and becoming the authority of, nigga, that means tomorrow I got to do this or I got to take out this. It's all about the aspect. Remember, the soul loves sacrifice. The soul flourishes on sacrifice. The ego flourishes off suffering. The soul flourishes and grows out of that dormancy that dormancy, and becomes creative again, becomes revitalized again, revives again, based on sacrifice, true sacrifice. The ego thrives on the aspects of struggle. It thrives on the aspect of you staying in that struggle monologue, staying in that traumatic aftermath, staying in that emotional paralysis, staying in that low weight class of insecurity, staying in that lower weight class, never allowing yourself to truly accept the challenge, and allowing yourself to challenge yourself. This is the year of you shaping yourself into what you desire. In order to get to what you desire is going to require you looking into true aspects of yourself. How far, it's one thing to say, it's one thing to put into yourself. I just had the thought. You can ask somebody, are you afraid? Can you accept me naked? That means naked and all of my insecurities and everything about myself. First thing I'm gonna ask you is like, have you accepted yourself naked? What you mean? Have you accepted yourself naked? There's a difference between looking at yourself naked and saying, well, okay, yeah, I have scars of insecurity, I have scars of this pain, scars of this, and this. That's not acceptance. That's expectancy. When most of us think about, will you accept me for this, and this, we're building this contract of expectancy in that space. Because if their opinion is, I will accept you, but in accepting you, because it's the same thing you say to yourself, in me accepting you for where you're at, I need you to accept me for investing into the change. I need you to accept me for observing my investments into this change. That's how we'll go forward. That's how this contract without the preconditions is going to go forward for yourself. When you're sitting there in that mirror doing that mirror work, if I give you a mirror work exercise, I accept me for where I am at. And I will become the observer of the investments into the change as I move forward. As I now accept myself into these aspects with the triggers that are going to come up, that have been coming up, I shall understand these patterns. I shall learn to embrace my rising by learning how to serve myself, and I shall learn how to embrace the falls as I learn to lead myself. That's the key for you coming into the higher aspects of yourself. It's deeper than, ooh, I read this and I saw this and I saw this. If you need to ask that question, ask that question. The question is going to be honest with yourself when you ask the question. Be honest, honesty, vulnerability. That's going to lead you to the true aspects of yourself. That's going to lead you to that aspect of that balance and bring you to that middle point. I just want you to be great. This Friday night, tomorrow, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know we do Friday night lectures. Gotta Call Alchemist YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting up the information pretty soon. We're going to get into breaking imitation. Now that you came into this aspect of acknowledgement that you've accepted for some, and if you haven't, you have no choice now because the shadows are that dense. Now that you've accepted that now that you've acknowledged that you have benefited from the trauma, now it's time for you to understand the patterns of imitation that you've been imitating. In order to understand imitation and break that trend, here's a mantra. I am everything my mother is and everything my mother isn't. I'm everything my father is and I'm everything my father isn't. I'm everything the victimizer is, and I'm everything of the victim. By bringing yourself into this space of balance with that truth to yourself, you start seeing this is when your patterns start coming up into those shadows start making sense to you. Why you say certain things, Because regardless if your mother was the best mother or the worst mother, your father was the best father or the worst father, they still taught you something. Once you accept that they taught you something regardless of either side, you remove the bias and you understand what they taught you. Because now you understand what now you stop imitating based on the hurt and you start emulating the lesson. But we're going to get into that on Friday. I want you to be the best. I want you to grow to be the best. Today is the day of 10, that Thor day. I want you to strike in after you've embraced the aspects of change. You are investing into the changes. You are observing the changes. Now you're coming to this aspect of you're shaping your impact based on those investment in those changes before you come into that day of that love and release to yourself. I want you to be the best. GodaCoAlchemistLLC.com. Everything from the services. Ooh, I like how they did that. I don't know why I did that. Everything from the readings, Saturn Will consultation, and multiple other works, inner child work, and all of that nature. GodaCoAlchemistLLC.com, or hit me in the inbox. And I'll see y'all tomorrow if I don't decide to do it. If I'm not led to do another live today. I love you. We love us. Ashe.